For many years, I called it past life regression. Today, I deliberately call it recall therapy. I changed it because after thousands of sessions, I realized the therapy was never just about past lives. There's so much more to it.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?
I'm Dr. Tony Riley, founder of SoulLife Psychology, where intuition meets logic. Today, I want to explain why, after more than 20 years, I deliberately changed the name from past life regression to recall therapy. Actually, I changed it quite a few years ago. When I first trained, past life regression was the accepted name. It described where many people went. It actually was what they came for. A lot of people were influenced by Many Lives, Many Masters, that fabulous book by Dr. Brian Weiss. People were coming along to have that experience that they'd read about. So it was past life regression that they wanted. But what happened in my practice was, for quite some time, it was always past lives. That's always where people went when they came for their session. But what started to happen was they would go elsewhere. So it became not just about past lives. People started recalling childhood memories. Those childhood memories we refer to as current life. And sometimes they would go beyond the past life and they would end up what we call the between lives space. You'll go up there and have fabulous things happen, healings and all of this kind of energetic magic. Sometimes, and this would always happen by surprise, and I tell you when it happened. As far as the session goes, in the beginning, when they first are relaxed and you're usually starting to navigate around the past life, at this point, what happened quite a few times was the client would start to tell me that their passed over person was there. So they might say something to me like, my dad's here, or whomever it was in their life. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing that would happen for them. It might not last long, but they would have this experience where their loved one came in to visit them. They got to speak with them themselves or feel their presence again. And what was really interesting about it was they never mentioned that. They'd come for past life regression. So it was always a surprise when it happened. I guess for me as much as them. It happened many times. So I knew then that it was something that needed to be, or was able to be, facilitated. Another thing that happens is sometimes people go to other realms. And those also are very exciting because often the people who go to other realms are shocked. When I say other realms, it might be things like, for want of a better description, alien places. And they see themselves, they see what they look like. They go to other places that sometimes they don't know the name of them. In fact, most of the time they don't say the name or don't know the name of the place. But they'll describe things like being very elongated, tall, much more energetic. A lot of the times communication is telepathic. These other realms or places that they visit or sometimes recall being at are always very, very different to Earth in that they're more energetic and calm, maybe peaceful is another way to describe it. Very different. Earth is the hard school that we come to. Anyway, what happened there was past lives soon became just one possibility of what could happen. So recall therapy was the name that I decided to call it. The therapy obviously was always bigger than just past lives, because essentially that person's soul is giving them what they need the most at the time of their life. Basically, the destination isn't the therapy so much as the therapeutic process is the therapy. And every experience has the same purpose, to reveal something relevant to the life that the person is living now. Why did I call it recall? Well, we're recalling consciousness. We're recalling memories that our soul, which is consciousness, our soul knows. We're recalling experiences. We're recalling things that we can't remember in our daily life, whether that's a past life or something that was planned by the soul before we were born. So we're not creating anything. We're remembering. We're remembering what already exists within the psyche or within the soul. So I removed past life. In some ways it divided people, but people who came to me were not divided. They were believers. They either had some sort of past life experience in a dream, or they'd read Brian Weiss's book, or they just inherently had this knowing that there was something within past lives for them. I didn't change the name because there were skeptics out there. They were never part of my mission. My mission was to bring past lives into normality, so into mainstream. Because 20 years ago, they were still more caught up with people who were spiritual. The past lives became much bigger than just past life regression. One of the other things that happens with calling it recall is some people tend to think that it's only for people who believe in reincarnation, but it's not. It's past lives. If they are where an answer lies for you, you will remember one whether you believe in them or not. Some people come along having never thought about past lives. Sometimes they go for other therapies and recall past lives. So that's why I wanted it to have a universal name for the most extraordinary therapy. I'll never stop saying that. The other thing with the past life regression is it maybe did put a barrier there for people who have got unexplained things and they want to explore a way to fix it. Then if it's called recall as opposed to past life regression, then I think it opens up a lot more people to the possibility of having it. So I gave the therapy a broader description because it deserves it, because it's absolutely amazing. And why I kept therapy, or why I added therapy, it could just be called recall, because you know what? When people come for curiosity, that is such a valid reason to explore your past lives, or explore between lives, or explore an outer body experience. It's not entertainment. It's okay to come for curiosity though, because what's happening when people come for curiosity, they think they're coming for curiosity, but what happens is something heals in them. Something else is revealed. So their soul's got them along there, or their guidance has got them along there to reveal something to them. So it's not necessarily about collecting extraordinary stories. It is a therapeutic process. People do come to resolve physical, emotional, and psychological symptoms, but the extraordinary experience that it is, it serves a therapeutic outcome. So, it could be just called recall, and it could be called recall therapy. But let's continue what recall therapy really is. It's communicating with your soul. Or, in other words, it's communicating with consciousness through the subconscious. So we're following the memories that your soul reveals to you. We're understanding why experiences happen, integrating those experiences into the life that you're living now. That's basically what happens with any recall session. Regress to progress. We don't revisit the past to change it. We revisit it to understand it so that you can progress naturally in life as you've worked through a process, and it gives you closure. Healing is sometimes closure because you understand why there was trouble between you and a certain person or within a main relationship. Offers you natural progress. Now, I guess sometimes changing a name could be about rebranding, but it wasn't for that. It was because my understanding and my observations had grown exponentially. So I had to call it something that represented that truth or that reality. Next week, I will have another past life themed episode. I think I might talk to you about what happens in a session. Hopefully that's interesting to you. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, I'd love you to subscribe. I say it every week. You could leave a review. You can share the episode with someone who's searching for answers. If you'd like to explore soul life psychology or recall therapy or even life map, which of course I also talk about in this podcast, even though we're very focused on past lives just for the moment. If you're interested in my courses, if you're interested in self-awareness work or personal development, or even a consultation, you will find everything at TonyRileyInstitute.com. Self-awareness is the ultimate activism. Until next time.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?